to Seafan Sports, a sports show that is dedicated to the Seattle sports fan. Kevin, game day weekend. I'm excited to talk about the Seahawks game because it was a thing of beauty. But before we do all that, Kevin, let's take a little care of a little housekeeping here. Make sure that you guys smash that subscribe button. Make sure that you guys give us thumbs up, give us thumbs down. Make sure that you leave comments down below. Tell us what you thought of this Seahawks team. Yep. Man, we have got a lot to dig into, Kevin.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. What a way to start out the 2021 season, Kevin. Woo!
Hey, I'm hearing something about a score prediction.
That's right, Kevin. Kevin's prediction, just so everybody knows out there, Kevin's prediction was that it was going to be 28-17. Kevin, you are a extra point. If they wouldn't have gone for the extra point there, or the 2-point extra point, it would have been right on the money. And I couldn't be any prouder that my partner in crime, Kevin, came through with a prediction that was pretty on point.
Now, I did miss a prediction. I thought the defense would score a touchdown. So I got 1 for 2 on my predictions. So that's where I'm going to stay.
Mine was 21-10. I think we were at some point in the game. I'm pretty sure that it was 21-10. So
I think it was. I
will take that I had a prediction come true too as well. But that's all right. Yep. Anyway, Kevin, let's go ahead and go over the players that we think were amazing. Let's start with 3 players on offense, and then we're going to shoot 3 players on defense. And Kevin, tell us who you think who we as a collective group think that our 3 players on offense were.
Well, first of all, we got to start off with Russell Wilson. I mean, what a phenomenal game.
Wilson.
That first touchdown to Tyler Lockett was an absolute thing of beauty, pretty much by Tyler, but it was an amazing touchdown. But Russell had 4 touchdowns, 254 yards, 18 of 23 with a 152.3 QB rating. That is phenomenal. So, Russell Wilson, you're good.
That's right. I tell you what, did you see when he threw that first touchdown that he turned around and he did his little thing, and then he turns around and who was the first person there to greet him?
I don't.
Dwayne Brown grabs him right, big old hands, grabbed him right by the helmet, pulled him in, and I wish I would have been there just to hear what he said to him. But it's pretty much that we can do anything we want if we set our minds to it. So, all right, Kevin. And who's our second player that you had?
Chris Carson, 16 carries, 91 yards, 5.7 average, 3 receptions, 26 yards, 8.7 yards average. The guy had a phenomenal game. And boy, when we needed a battering ram, he did it. He did have 1 fumble, but the nice thing about it, when we went back on offense, the first play, guess who got the ball? Chris Carson, because they're showing him that we trust you, Chris. And Chris had just a phenomenal game.
Yeah, he was a man possessed today. He was breaking tackles and just going like a madman. All right, Kevin, player number 3 for Seafan Sports of the game. Who do you think it was, Kev?
Tyler Lockett. 2 TDs, 4 receptions, 100 yards. And that second touchdown was the highlight, in my opinion. Well, I like a lot of hitting. So, but on offense, that was one of the best plays of the game. Absolutely.
I honestly think, Kevin, you heard all of Indianapolis, all of Indiana's hearts crack when he caught that ball.
You know it.
Oh, it was just amazing.
It was.
I love it. Kevin, I want to throw in a 4th player on offense.
You're breaking the rules.
Actually, I am. I'm a rule breaker.
You are.
Kevin, I don't think that it's a player. I'm going to go with a position group. I think that both of our tight ends, if they showed us a glimpse of what they can do, man, I tell you, Will Dissly and Gerald Everett, They are going to be a nightmare matchup coming down. This offense is still in infancy.
Oh, yeah.
We're still learning all about what we're going to do in this offense. Will Dissly was a man amongst boys. The way he took that defensive back and threw him to the ground like he owed him money.
Exactly.
Kevin was unbelievable. And then Gerald Everett, he just comes back and he also in the seam, on the edges.
Yep.
The way that I see those two becoming a fixture in the offense. Oh my gosh. I tell you, Kevin, it's what Russell has needed to propel himself into the next level. Dare I say, three little letters, MVP. All right, Kevin.
I will tell you that touchdown that Everett had was absolutely just perfect, man. It couldn't have been better.
Russell looks amazing. All right, Kevin. The only thing really bad that I saw out there, Ethan Posick. We'll leave it at that. Okay, Kevin.
Well, I do have one other stat that I was excited about.
All right, throw at me.
We had 140 yards rushing against a very good front seven. So I'm like, man, if we can do a healthy front seven.
Yeah.
Those guys, I was just like blown away that we got 140 yards rushing in that game.
Agreed. All right, Kevin, let's flip to the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our three impact players or three players that X factors, whatever we want to call it, still in the infancy. We're like the offense of the Seattle Seahawks. We're still trying to come up with all of our acronyms or names that we want to call people. But the three impact players on defense that you saw.
We got to start with Rasheen Green. I mean, that guy was just unbelievable. 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack. And that sack, I had never had so much fun watching a defensive line than today's game. They hit Carson Wentz 10 times and 3 sacks. I mean, the defense up front was just unbelievable and led by Rasheen Green.
I have one criticism of Rasheen Green. He should not be covering anybody.
No.
He shouldn't be covering he should not be covering a running back.
No.
Shouldn't be covering a receiver.
Nope.
Shouldn't be covering a tight end. He needs to rush the passer.
Yes.
Please, for the love of God, Ken Jr., let him do his job.
Yeah,
let him go in after the quarterback.
Yep.
All right. Enough said. I'm not going to get all negative. Nope. We did win this game pretty easily. All right, Kevin. Number 2, please.
Number 2, linebacker Jordan Brooks.
Baby.
He had 11 total tackles, 7 solo. He was everywhere on that field, and he just stood out. That pass defense breakup in the first quarter was absolutely amazing. So Jordan Brooks, thumbs up.
I hate to say it, Kevin. When he was drafted, I did this.
Exactly.
That was the exact face I made. Jordan,
who?
What? Huh?
We don't need a linebacker.
We don't need a linebacker. What? But you know what, Kevin? Pretty gosh darn happy you got him. All right, Kevin, let's move on to number 3.
And number 3 is the safety Quandary Diggs. He had 9 total tackles, 7 solos, but he was a missile hitting machine. Did a phenomenal job today. So thumbs up to Quandary Diggs as well.
All right, Kevin, one quick side note. Did the new numbers throw you off?
They did a little bit. I think Benson Mayoa, I was trying to figure out who 10 was. I'm like, who is that guy? But
did Jim Zorn just come back?
No,
I don't know.
And then you had DJ Reed was in number 2.
I'm pretty sure that we had Dan McGuire and
you're dating yourself, man. That's bad.
Jim Zorn out on the field there for a second. Kevin, I'm gonna call a 4th position group. I'm gonna call a position group out. I think our whole defensive line, the amount of pressure that Mayoa, Dunlap, my rookie Daryl Terrell. I
Yeah.
don't care if he was drafted last year. This is his rookie season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My rookie, Daryl Taylor. I think that Monet. I think Al Woods played a solid game. I think the fire hydrant in the middle, Puna, when he went down, I was like, I mean, I think I was more scared than any horror movie I've ever watched. That was a jump scare right there. I just, please, Puna, get up. And he did.
Yeah.
Him and Lockett when they went down.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, wow.
Well,
pretty impressive.
Let's talk about the front seven real quick.
Gotcha.
We kept Jonathan Taylor to 56 yards rushing with a 3.3 average. They kept Naheem Hines to 34 yards at a 3.8 yards per average. That front seven was phenomenal.
Yeah, because the Colts wanted to do was come into this game and run the football.
Yep.
That's what their game plan was that.
Yeah.
They wanted to run the football, control the clock, and they didn't do it.
No.
There was a couple drives that they did, and I was a little peeved about that. But you know what?
Yep.
They came out and they forced their will on that offense. I think that wow, I can't say enough good about our defense. So
they were phenomenal. So
absolutely. All right, Kevin. So let's real quick before we move on to wrapping this game up. Let's go ahead and take a look around the NFC West and see where we're at. As it stands right now, the Rams are beating Chicago pretty soundly. I can see my monitor up there that's telling me that. Arizona just, oh my God, they just beat the Titans like a drum.
Oh, man.
But the San Francisco 49ers, Kevin, they have a little scare of themselves. They went into the final 2 minutes up, 23 points and barely got out of that game with a win. The Jared Goff had a chance to bring that Detroit Lion team back and beat the 49ers. And that does not, and not only that, Raheem Mostert out for the season. That's what I read right before you and I started talking. And that's huge.
Huge.
Man, again, we talk about players for the San Francisco 49ers going down. And looks like that curse might be coming back, but I'm not the guy that's going to spread that rumor. Anyway, Kevin, so any final thoughts on the Seahawks game before we bid our fine folks out there adieu?
You know, our X factors weren't really X factors this week.
No, we were pretty poor with our X factor.
Now you had an offensive X factor that I thought played a very, very good game and had an amazing touchdown that was unbelievable. But go ahead and talk about your guys.
You know what? All right, Kevin. So I had DK Metcalf, and I honestly think that they paid so much attention shutting DK down.
They did.
That everybody else just blew up around him.
Well, and he was being double teamed with the safety in the corner. Absolutely. And he still came away with 4 catches for 60 yards.
60 yards and a touchdown. That
amazing touchdown. It wasn't, it was a thing of beauty. I mean, it was so perfect.
Your guy, D. Eskridge.
Boy, he looked pretty good. Had 1 reception for 6 yards and 2 rushes for 22 yards. And then he ended up getting a concussion. So I don't know how long he's
going. You know what? Showed us that what that fly sweep can look like and how it can open up the rest of our offense. I tell you what,
kid has. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just going to say this before they finally gave him that fly sweep. I kept going, ooh, I wonder what that's going to look like when they finally give it to him.
Yeah.
And when they did, man, that kid was just gone. All right, Kevin. Those were our offensive X factors. Not as impressed with other than DK. I mean, DK is just solid.
Yeah.
Just always solid. So let's flip to that defensive side of the ball, Kevin. So
I had Jamal Adams, who actually had a good game. He was
solid.
Solid game. It wasn't a great game. It was a solid game. He ended up having 6 total tackles, 3 solos, and he had a beautiful sack until he just jumped the gun. However, in my opinion, I got to go back and watch the game. I thought the play clock expired right when he jumped, and it should have been delay a game, not an offsides penalty.
All right, Kevin. Mine was Marquise Blair, and yeah, I didn't see a lot of good out of Marquise.
No.
So not saying that he can't do it in the future, but it's going to be a few weeks before I go back to the Marquise Blair. Well, can't be right every time.
Yeah, I thought him and Ugo Amadi did not perform as well as I thought they should have. I thought a lot of these guys and a lot of the catches that the Colts had were their responsibility, and they just were
in
not.
The slot. Yeah.
It just was not as good as it should have been, and I was kind of disappointed with both of them.
All right, well, Kevin, I completely agree with you on that. There was a little bit of Anyway, Kevin,
great game though.
So great game. All right, folks, just so you guys know, programming note: this Thursday we will be doing a preview of the Seattle Seahawks Tennessee Titans game right here. So please hit that subscribe button. You guys tell us who your guys' X factors were down in the comments, or who you thought just outperformed the rest of the team. Kevin, I think we only have 2 words left to say.
Go Hawks.
That's right. See you next week.